The patrol finds the tunnel entrance at 0600. Standard procedure. Clear the area, call in engineers, seal it, move on. They do everything right. By 1400, 3 soldiers are dead. Not from that tunnel, from another one, 200 meters away, dug the night before. At 1600, the engineers return to collapse the original tunnel. It's already empty. The supplies are gone. The weapons are gone. The men who built it are gone. What they find instead is a map. American positions, patrol routes, times, left on purpose. The Viet Cong were never in that tunnel. They were watching and learning exactly where the Americans would be next. This is not the story of a hidden tunnel. It's the story of an army discovering, too late, that it was fighting the wrong war. The enemy has no front line, no headquarters to bomb, no supply depots to destroy, no army to encircle. American doctrine is built on these things: locate the enemy, fix them in place, destroy them with overwhelming firepower, win. But the Viet Cong do not mass, they do not hold ground, they do not wear uniforms in daylight. They are farmers at dawn, fighters at dusk, farmers again by morning. The jungle is not their hiding place, it is their infrastructure. The villages are not neutral ground, they are supply depots, hospitals, recruiting centers, indistinguishable from any other village. The tunnels are not shelters, they are cities. Underground networks stretching hundreds of miles, storage, command centers, hospitals, schools, entire military operations conducted beneath the feet of American patrols. And the population, the Americans cannot tell who is Viet Cong and who is not. The woman selling rice might be a logistics officer. The boy on the bicycle might be carrying grenades. The farmer in the paddy might have planted the mine that killed 2 men yesterday. So the Americans bring what they have: helicopters, artillery, airstrikes, sensors, intelligence, firepower that can level a grid square in minutes. The Viet Cong bring patience. Every American advantage creates a new problem. Helicopters make insertions faster, but also louder. The Viet Cong hear them coming. They vanish. The Americans land in empty villages. Artillery can destroy a suspected position in seconds, but it requires knowing where the enemy is. The Viet Cong are already gone. The craters remain. The civilians remain. Sensors can detect movement at night, but the jungle is full of movement: animals, farmers, wind. The Viet Cong learn to move when the sensors are useless, or they trigger them on purpose. 50 false alarms, then 1 real attack. The Americans are fighting an industrial war: metrics, reports, kill ratios, territory controlled. The Viet Cong are fighting a war of survival. If they are still alive tomorrow, they are winning. One side needs to win, the other only needs to continue. American doctrine was not wrong. It was simply designed for a war the Viet Cong refused to fight. A unit discovers a tunnel complex near Cu Chi, massive, hundreds of meters, 3 levels deep. They call in engineers, demolition teams. They pump tear gas into the shafts. They collapse the entrances. They declare the area secure. 2 weeks later, the tunnel is operational again. New entrances, new chambers, dug at night, in silence, by hand. The Americans destroy it again. It reappears again. This happens 11 times. The Viet Cong are not defending the tunnels. They are making the Americans waste time destroying them. Time, resources, attention. While the Americans are focused on Cu Chi, 3 other tunnel networks are being expanded, 60 kilometers away. The Americans reveal their priorities. The Viet Cong learn where to hide next. A patrol enters a village at dawn. Intelligence says it is a Viet Cong supply hub. They search every house, every hut, every storage pit. They find rice, farming tools, nothing unusual. They leave. That night, the same village shelters a Viet Cong platoon. The rice was already cooked. The weapons were buried under the floor of a hut the Americans searched. The platoon leader was the man who smiled and waved as the patrol left. The Americans returned 3 days later. The village is empty. The supplies are gone, the weapons are gone, the people are gone. Now the Americans have a choice: destroy the village or leave it standing for the Viet Cong to use again. They destroy it. The Viet Cong build a new supply hub 10 kilometers away in a village that looks exactly the same. The Americans reveal what they will tolerate. The Viet Cong learn how far they can push. At this point, American commanders know something is wrong, but they don't know what. So they do what armies do when doctrine stops working. They apply it harder. A convoy moves along Route 1. Standard security, lead vehicle, rear guard, air cover on standby. The road is clear, no movement, no intel indicating enemy presence. At kilometer marker 47, the lead vehicle triggers a mine. The convoy stops. Troops dismount, secure the area. That is when the ambush begins. Small arms fire, RPGs, mortars, from 3 sides, lasting 4 minutes. Then silence. The Viet Cong are gone before the helicopters arrive, melted into the jungle, 50 meters from the road, invisible. Casualties: 7 dead, 12 wounded. Viet Cong casualties: unknown. No bodies recovered, no blood trails, no evidence they were ever there. Except the mine and the bullet casings and the American dead. The convoy was not the target. The response was. The Viet Cong wanted to know, how fast do the helicopters arrive? What route do they take? How long does the convoy stay in place? They are gathering information. The Americans are providing it. This pattern repeats. A patrol is ambushed. Reinforcements arrive. The Viet Cong are gone. Repeat. A base takes mortar fire. Counter battery fire is called in. The mortar team is gone. Repeat. A supply route is mined. Engineers clear it. It is mined again the next night. Repeat. The Americans adapt. They use different routes, different times, different tactics. The Viet Cong adapt faster. Because they do not need to win engagements. They need to make the Americans bleed, slowly, predictably, endlessly. 1 American death a week is sustainable for the Viet Cong. It is unbearable for the Americans. The response is escalation. If the enemy will not fight conventionally, destroy their ability to hide. Operation Rolling Thunder was not a military operation. It was an admission. We don't know where the enemy is, so we'll bomb everywhere. Thousands of sorties, millions of tons of ordnance, more bombs dropped on Vietnam than in all of World War II. Results: supply routes disrupted, temporarily. The Viet Cong rebuild them. They move at night. They use bicycles. They carry supplies by hand. The Ho Chi Minh Trail is not 1 road, it is 1,000 trails. Bomb 1, 10 more appear. Agent Orange was the same logic. Destroy the jungle, remove the cover, make the enemy visible. Millions of gallons, entire forests stripped bare. Results: the Viet Cong move deeper into the jungle. They use the tunnels more. They blend into the villages more. The defoliation creates refugees. Refugees create resentment. Resentment creates recruits. Body counts. Measure success by enemy dead. Every operation reports kills. 10 Viet Cong here, 20 there, 50 after an airstrike. The numbers go up, month after month, year after year. But the Viet Cong force size does not shrink. It grows. Kill 1 Viet Cong, destroy 1 village, create 20 recruits. The body counts went up. So did their army. The metrics improved because the metrics measured the wrong war. Search and destroy. Find the enemy, engage them, kill them, move on. Units sweep through grid squares. They find tunnels. They find supply caches. They kill fighters. Then they leave. The Viet Cong return. They rebuild. They resupply. They recruit. The Americans control the ground they are standing on. The moment they leave, they control nothing. This is not a war of territory. It is a war of presence. And the Viet Cong are always present. The Americans bring more troops, more firepower, more technology, better intelligence, more aggressive tactics. The metrics improve. The war does not. Every escalation was not a solution. It was an admission that the previous one had failed. Because the Viet Cong are not trying to win battles. They are trying to outlast the Americans, and they are succeeding. By 1968, the war has been escalating for 3 years. The metrics say America is winning. The Viet Cong are about to prove the metrics wrong. January 30th, 1968, Tet Offensive. Viet Cong and North Vietnamese forces attack over 100 cities and towns simultaneously. Saigon, Hue, Da Nang, provincial capitals, district centers, military bases, including the U.S. Embassy in Saigon. The attacks are coordinated, planned for months, launched during a ceasefire. The Americans respond immediately, overwhelming force, air support, armor, infantry. Within days, the offensive is crushed. Viet Cong casualties catastrophic, entire units destroyed, command structure shattered. Militarily, the Tet Offensive is a failure. Strategically, it is a victory, because the American public watches it happen on television in real time. The enemy that was supposed to be defeated is attacking everywhere at once. The embassy that represents American power is under siege for 6 hours. The generals have been saying the war is being won. The metrics prove it. The body counts prove it. Progress is undeniable, and yet the enemy just attacked 100 locations simultaneously. Tet did not defeat the American military. It defeated the assumption that victory was inevitable. The question changes. Not how do we win, but how are we still here? The Viet Cong lose the battle, but they win the narrative. They prove that after years of war, billions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of troops, the Americans still do not control Vietnam. And the Americans realize they never will. Not because they are losing, but because victory is impossible. You cannot defeat an enemy that does not need to win, only to survive. You cannot hold territory when the enemy is the population. You cannot destroy a supply line that is 10,000 trails dug by hand. You cannot bomb a jungle into submission. You cannot measure progress in body counts when the enemy recruits faster than you can kill them. The Viet Cong do not win through strength. They win through endurance. And endurance is something firepower cannot destroy. The Vietnam War was not lost because of tactics. It was not lost because of morale. It was lost because one side was fighting to win, and the other side was fighting to not lose. Those are different wars. The Americans needed total victory,
Capitulation, surrender, a defeated enemy that stops fighting. The Viet Cong needed survival. If they were still fighting tomorrow, they were winning. Time was their weapon. Invisibility was their defense. The population was their infrastructure. The jungle was their fortress. The tunnels were their cities. And the Americans, despite all their power, could destroy none of it permanently. You can win every battle and still lose the war, not because you were weak, but because your enemy redefined what victory meant. The Viet Cong understood something the Americans did not. In asymmetrical warfare, the weaker side does not need to defeat the stronger side. They only need to make the cost of victory unbearable. And they did. The Americans left Vietnam in 1973. The Viet Cong didn't win on that day. They had already won in 1968, when America realized you can't kill an idea, you can't bomb patience, and you can't outlast people fighting in their own home. The United States did not lose Vietnam when it withdrew. It lost when it became clear that staying longer would change nothing.